Welcome to Boston, Massachusetts. So, why am I here? You really think that those NCR amateurs could pest America's finest? I had their asses for dinner! But then a bunch of those paper-shuffling jackasses up and left Camp Nevarro. And whoever remained either died for the country or hid like traitors. In the end, there was nothing left but corpses. But I wouldn't go into hiding. For now, though, I'll give the words to my chronicler.
Thank you, Colonel Dornan. And so, bereft of his men and on leads on where to go next, he packed his ass up and headed east in search of other enclave bases. When he reached the outskirts of Boston, he happened upon a signal leading him to a vault. The Vault 111 Military Wing. Quickly before we begin, for this run we'll be using the, in all essence, free DLC of the America Rising 2 mod, which weaves the joinable Enclave faction into the game, which you can play right now on PC and Xbox. And we'll be going through its story with the, for now, Sergeant Dornan.
Lovely.
Anyway, Raiders had occupied the tunnels leading to the vault. And despite the Sarge wearing rusty old Mark I powered combat armor, there was a problem. He would not stoop below using non-enclave weaponry, but plasma for his trusty old plasma rifle was hard to come by. And by the time he was done with the Raiders down there, he only had one mag of the stuff remaining. After entering the vault, he released its cryopod occupants.
Wait, I don't recognize you. How did you get in here?
Who the hell are you?
General Russell Ward of the United States Army.
And after getting quite the shock,
Over 200 years, my God!
the Sarge was ordered towards a satellite array with the squad's field operative to get into contact with command. But seeing how plasma stocks were running low, he first needed to head to Good Neighbor to get some plasma from the locals, as disgusting as they may be, punching his way through the city, Frank style.
Oh, yeah. That's the spirit, kid. Now you're doing it.
In Good Neighbor, the gun shop sold maybe 10 plasma ammo about every third shop reset, which happens every 2 days. So literal months later, the Sarge was ready to head north to the satellite array. About halfway there, he encountered Raiders in strange, enclave-style looking power armor.
How the hell did a civilian get their hands on that powered combat armor? I'll execute these maggots for stealing government property.
After recovering the armor, he made his way to the rendezvous to get to work on establishing contact with the Enclave. And was ambushed by the Enclave.
Oh, that's just marvelous. You maggots are either the stupidest bunch of morons to ever walk the face of the earth at best, or traitors at worst.
Well, at least this yielded some ammo and a heavy flamer.
Now that's a nice piece of equipment.
And better armor. Though how could the Sarge part with his suit? Following that, he arrived at the rendezvous. But Raiders had set up their camps in the tunnel leading to the satellite array and its surrounding area. On top of that, they had also acquired the key to get into the satellite array. So they were forced to clear them out. Though blasting through all that plasma was a little painful, knowing how long it took to gather it all. The stuff wasn't cheap either. Anyway, they grabbed the key, had a radiation storm roll in as they dealt with the automated defenses, and entered the satellite array. Inside, they saw a suspicious amount of robots on standby, brute-forced a puzzle to align the dishes to form a connection to the vault, and had Raiders loudly announce their presence.
Alright, those fuckers should still be in here. I'll make whoever breaks through their heads rich. Fucking go!
Oh, lovely. They've sent me a moron.
So the Sarge activated the automated defenses. And while the raiders were distracted with those, he and the captain sterilized the raiders in white-hot flames. With all the raiders having been immolated, they took care of the indiscriminate defenses and headed back to the vault, where the general looked much more respectable.
Excellent! You're in uniform now!
There's been no responses from command, and without them, we're in the dark as far as the bigger picture goes. We are, however, aware of the location of an old military hangar. The probability of a vertibird within is high. If it's operational, we'll be able to use it to get to command.
Along the way to the hangar, he marked Fort Hagen for later, played the pyro for a little while, and then reached the hangar.
No.
That hangar was occupied by gunners, which might look professional with those dirty old military uniforms on, but they were not much different from raiders, really.
Dressing up like soldiers doesn't turn you into one. If anything, you're committing stolen valor. That will end now.
Following that, the Sarge went back to Good Neighbor, where plasma was finally readily available, reducing what would have taken hours before to minutes.
This is where the fun begins.
Converted one of those plasma pistols from the Enclave ambush into a plasma thrower.
That is really nice.
After which, he met with the General and Co. at the Vertibird.
We're ready to proceed with the next part of our plan, reaching command. Captain Peterson and I will be equipping some suits of the T-51 power armor we found stored here as a precaution. Time to go.
After a long flight over the Atlantic Ocean, they arrived at an oil rig.
Oh my God, I'm home again. It's a little smaller than the old one back west, but it'll do.
Though as soon as they landed, it appeared that the rig was overrun with feral ghouls. All the while, the weathered remains of Enclave personnel laid scattered all throughout the rig.
Marvelous. How the hell did a horde of pharaohs get on this base? If everyone here weren't dead already, I'd have killed those responsible myself.
The oil rig was made up of 4 sections. The landing pad, the compliance department, the science labs, and the Department of Military Operations. The compliance department was basically the commons/speech-giving area that also contained a radio transmitter. And a tidal wave of ghouls rushing towards the stage as if the Sarge were a famous pop singer. Though luckily, he was the security. After exiting the compliance department, they were met by an actual living soldier who filled them in at military ops.
Who are you, soldier?
I'm Colonel Whitehill. I served here under General Douglas up until 2279, when the lab suffered a containment breach. After that, everything fell apart. Those of us that didn't die abandoned the oil rig and either went into hiding or deserted.
God, how could this happen? And these creatures, how many are there? How do we get rid of them?
Those things are ghouls. The labs were working on some sort of project to create and use them as fodder. It went very badly. The oil rig's defenses were down, so we were sitting ducks. The only thing left to do is restart the reactors, and the defenses should do the rest.
Those are your orders, Colonel. Take our friend with you and get those reactors online.
The oil rig's currently on lockdown. If we want to get to the reactors, we need to override it.
For the override, they had to access 3 terminals. One was at military ops, which included a crew quarters, war room, and long-range communications. One in the science labs, where their experiment had gone horribly wrong. And one in the compliance department. With the lockdown lifted, they got the reactor online and had secured the rig.
What we need now, most of all, is manpower.
When we lost the oil rig, we also lost the ability to communicate with other outposts in the region. I don't know how many of those outposts are still around, but If we could bring the comms equipment back online, we could order them to regroup here.
Do we have the necessary equipment to restore communications?
We don't, but I know where we could find it. You probably saw the USNS Harper stranded not far from here when you flew in. If anywhere has the equipment we need, it's there.
Before leaving for the harbor, he spoke with the doctor lady that accompanied the general.
My work had just been transferred for the Mariposa military base.
Oh boy. Anyway, we'll be seeing more of her later. For now, though, Sergeant Dornan got aboard the vertibird again and flew towards the USNS Harper for the short-range radio transmitter part. And could immediately see why the ship had stopped moving not too far from the oil rig.
Looks like we've got some overgrown aquatic maggots to squash. Circle around and set her down. Move it, soldier!
And squash them he did. And after killing the crabs, he turned their children into an omelette. Following that, he went into the ship's hold and came across ghoulified enclave personnel.
We're not enclave anymore. We just want to get to shore and spend our days in peace.
Nobody leaves the enclave, except for in a body bag. Time to die.
What the?
That, and of course, their ghouls, muties, etc. Just no. Anyway, he steered the supply-laden ship over to the rig. With the comms fixed, rendezvous coordinates could be transmitted to the scattered Enclave personnel.
Let it be known by all that the Enclave are back, and nothing will stop us in our pursuit to restore our country. I want to recognize the service you've done for the Enclave thus far by formally inducting you as a second lieutenant. Dismiss, Lieutenant.
And so, Lieutenant Dornan got to gathering some personnel since it'd take a while before people start arriving. In this case, collecting the previous chief engineer of the rig to help fix its extensive damage.
Until the long-range transmitter is operational and I contact High Command, we're limited on manpower. Brings me to your first order. I need you to repair that transmitter.
All right, give me a day, and I'll have it in tip-top shape for you.
And long conversation short, the Senator of the Commonwealth and a healthy amount of personnel would be arriving soon-ish. Now they just had to wait. So in the meantime, the lieutenant went to the largest population center to ascertain its level of threat. It was 0, though the locals gave away some very interesting information.
If the Institute grabs you in the night, at least we warned you.
The Institute?
You ain't heard of the Institute, mister? They snatch people up in the night and no one hears from them again.
I'd like to see them try.
Exploring the city led to a detective agency.
The detective ain't coming back. He's gone missing.
Considering how our local enclave was currently too low on manpower to investigate this institute, if it even existed at all, the lieutenant had to, begrudgingly, enlist the help of locals. With the detective having gone missing, however, the lieutenant had to first go and fetch him from an underground vault before forcing him to find the institute for the enclave. Before even arriving at the vault, however, the subway leading up to it was occupied by a local crime family which had to vacate the premises first. So, a little bit of plasma here and a few fists being flung around there, and the subway had been vacated. After that, Lieutenant Dornan entered the vault's door, and after a little while, he released the detective from his improvised prison cell.
Whoa, what the hell are you?
I'm a detective. Look, I know the skin and the metal parts ain't comforting, but it's not important right now.
With the detective in tow, they made their way out of the vault. Violently. Right as they were about to leave, the crime family's head honcho was blocking the exit. And since diplomacy was not necessary...
You're fat and you're ugly, and it's time you and your crazy bitch said goodbye.
After that, he went to the office, got suspicious.
Don't lie to me, Nick. You're one of them. They made you.
Yeah, I've heard it all before. You're a freak. You've got something to hide. People smart enough to build something like me are smart enough to cover their tracks.
And after was directed towards Kellogg, who was implied to be working for the Institute, who resided within Fort Hagen. Inside, the lieutenant encountered more of those synth robots, but these ones weren't as talkative as Nick. So after a little bit of synth murdering, he met with Kellogg.
So where is it, This Institute. How do I get there?
You don't find the Institute. The Institute finds you.
I'm gonna ask you a second time. There will not be a third!
I think we've been talking long enough. We both know how this has to end.
If it's your way, you moron!
After fishing a piece of cybernetic brain from Kellogg's puddle, the lieutenant headed outside, where the Brotherhood of Steel flew in.
Holy Jesus! What the fuck is that? It's a goddamn miracle that those screw-ups have managed to scrape that pile of junk together.
At that moment, he was recalled to the oil rig. At the bottom level, he fixed the factory by literally duct taping a bunch of pipes shut, resulting in anything, including power armor, being able to be produced there. After that, he had to fetch FEV for Dr. K.
Some FEV2 samples.
Where would I find that?
There was, I suppose, an enormous military complex beneath Boston. You'll be able to find everything I need there.
Oh yeah, cause last time they fiddled around with dangerous experiments aboard the station, things ended up so well. But surely this time things will be fine. Well, who was Lieutenant Dornan to question command's orders? So, off he trotted to the facility. Along the way, he reached Charisma 10 and got intimidating. It was only fitting.
I am not a sir! I work for a living, you moron! You will call me Sergeant or Sergeant Dornan. Do you understand me?
Yes, sir, Sergeant, I'm sorry. The lieutenant immediately put his intimidating presence to work as he entered the facility, where he turned a raider into a human shield. He then, of course, executed that maggot afterwards. Anyway, the complex and connecting tunnels were pretty huge. So besides coming across a few Brotherhood soldiers holding down the perimeter, that were then quickly immolated by hot plasma, the lieutenant also found himself having a scuffle with a squad of gunners before getting reinforced.
You are out of uniform, soldier! Where is your power armor?
With those reinforcements, they brute forced their way into the FEV labs way deep underground. Though it seemed that after the Great War, some FEV had managed to spread and mutate a couple dozen people into super mutants.
You muties are a little slow, aren't you? See green fire? You stay away from green fire. You no stay away from green fire, you get hurt. Capiche? I'll still kill you anyway.
At the end of the room, an epic behemoth knew what was good for him when he saw an enclave unit roll up to his front door and tried to run away.
Oh, shit!
But there was nowhere for him to go, so the thing turned into barbecue. With the labs cleared out, an FEV sample was retrieved, after which the lieutenant needed to acquire 3 different test subjects. First, a regular wastelander. So he kidnapped a random bum nobody would miss, then an irradiated creature, and finally, a pure, untainted human. So he traveled to Vault 81, which he was not gonna Vault 13.
Must fight sudden urge to massacre.
Anyway, Lieutenant Dornan opted to just kidnap one to keep the vault stocked with subjects, and ran like the wind as he dragged her away. After that, the lieutenant was sent back to the satellite relay from a while back. And, little side note, it was pretty cool to see the lieutenant directly mentioned in the internal messages.
We're here to secure the state's army depot, but it looks like a paramilitary force arrived before us. They seem better equipped than the usual wasteland denizens, but we still outgun them. Significantly.
Oh, I'm ready.
These things could never be easy and just involved the Enclave walking into a place and taking what was rightfully theirs. Anyway, when the Fury Company soldiers laid dead at his feet, he did a quick double take as they all had synth parts integrated in them, just like the robotic ones he had fought before.
Interesting.
After moving through a heavily armored security gate, they arrived in a peculiarly lush area where Mr. Handy Robots had been keeping the grounds since the Great War. Furry Company didn't want to let them appreciate the scenery for long, however, since the army depot was packed. And while the captain goes around killing the Furies, I'm gonna take this opportunity to chill a little. So, if you're enjoying the run so far, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Thanks! Alright, chill's over. Mwah. At any rate, this army depot would provide the Enclave with building supplies, rations, and a giant heap of plasma rifles. In one of the buildings, after of course immolating a few savages, there were literal crates full of hundreds of plasma rifles. Those succumbing to their natural urge to surrender to an Enclave assault force were executed on the spot. Next, they went inside the HQ building.
Who the hell are you? This is our claim.
It can't be.
What, you in charge, army man? You've made a big mistake coming onto our turf.
What is this trickery? You're not Vanessa.
Hey, stay back! How the fuck do you know my name? I do know who you are. I gotta thank you. You're the reason we got here in the first place. Time for you to join that family of yours, Russ.
Go to hell!
Oh, Lieutenant didn't know what that was all about, but what he did know was how to kill mutated savages, robots, men, as he immediately injected himself with Psycho as soon as the bullets started flying. After that, the lieutenant needed a talk with the general.
Alright, I'll admit it. I'm confused.
Look, that's my daughter. Or at least she damn well looks like her. Except it isn't her. I couldn't save her, you see. She wasn't military. She wasn't assigned to any vaults. God knows I tried. Look, we need
Not long later, the general went missing, got tracked down to his pre-war home, found out that his daughter had ransacked his safe containing his keycard, explaining how they got past the heavily reinforced gate at the army depot, and were then ambushed by more Fury Company. After repelling the attack, they managed to capture one and gave him a dose of truth/death serum. He then confirmed that they were synths and that the Institute had made the General's daughter to bypass pre-war biometric security.
They're dead.
So this was the Institute's doing. It is high time we learn more about them. We can't afford to have a large unknown like them interfering with us. I'll talk to the Senator about it. Before we proceed any further, due to your exemplary service thus far, I am promoting you to Captain. Dismiss, Captain.
After his promotion, reinforcements arrived at the oil rig, sent by and with Senator Matthews of the Commonwealth.
Dr. Kane, how has work on the FEV been going?
Truthfully, progress is slow, We're struggling with the lab's power supply.
To summarize our priorities, Chief Engineer Myers, get us more power. Dr. Kane, you keep working on the FEV. This comes directly from the President. Everyone else, it's about time we find a way into the Institute. We must know what we're dealing with once and for all. And I insist the Captain spearhead this mission. They look like the type to get things done.
To that end, the Captain followed up with Nick, who sent him back to Good Neighbor, where they were hooked up to Kellogg's piece of cybernetic brain and discovered the location of a rogue Institute scientist to interrogate. And that they can teleport.
What the fuck?
So the Captain went after the scientist and thus entered the glowing sea. Though halfway through, he happened upon a group of paranoid cut-off Enclave personnel who shot on sight. The Captain attempted to reason with them and convinced them to stand down. Successfully in some cases, in other cases, decidedly less so, unfortunately.
You morons! When I say halt, you halt! When I say fight, you fight! When I tell you to keel over and die, then you will certainly die! Now die!
At least the Colonel had the sense to stand down. The Captain would send for a chopper to come and collect them whenever he returned to the rig, where they would be screened for mutations, and potentially given the Harper treatment if they were compromised, of course. A lot of radiation in that place. Anyway, one of those that didn't surrender carried a Tesla cannon.
I'll be taking that.
With that outpost pacified, he continued on, reaching the sea's crater, with people inside. Now, the Captain had been okay with using regular wastelanders to further the Enclave's goals, but this strain of wastelander was particularly vile. Having taken care of those mutants, he vaporized a deathclaw in front of the scientist's hiding cave and introduced himself.
You are going to help me, or I'm going to hurt you.
Why are you even here? What do you want?
You and I both know you were part of the Institute, and you escaped.
I can help you.
During their back and forth, Dr. Virgil agreed to help build a teleporter if the Captain brought back his super mutant cure from the Institute. Which was good. If it worked, the Enclave wouldn't be forced to kill him for being severely compromised. In any event, the Captain needed to kill an Institute Corsair for a chip in its head, which was needed to hijack the Institute's teleporter. So he tracked the thing down to the Green Tech Genetics building. But before being able to rip the chip out of the Corsair's head, the Captain was once more being forced to deal with gunners showing up as inconveniently as a roach infestation. Halfway through, the Tesla cannon was taken out for a test fire.
Oh, just a few more moments and I left that Corsair's sorry ass in a sling.
Next, he made a gunner fight for his life against his buddies, and then killed them anyway. After that, the Captain reached the Corsair.
Are you here for the synth?
That is not why I'm here.
If you're not here for the synth, then you're here for me. What do you want?
We are on a need-to-know basis, and you don't need to know.
You'll die like the rest of them.
And so, Mr. Tough Guy and a few useless captured muties were promptly executed and the chip scraped from the ground. To decode the chip, he tracked down the railroad, who, spoiler, were so unimportant that Enclave Command would never even mention them. Next, he got teleporter plans from Dr. Virgil and returned to the oil rig.
Brotherhood took Washington from us. We'll take their elder from them.
Remember what the Senator said, Captain. Getting into the Institute is our highest priority.
Well, guess what? Today is your lucky day. I have a way inside.
Excellent work, Captain. I knew we could rely on you. There isn't enough space or power to build this device here, but there is a suitable alternative.
That being the lush army depot, where the Enclave was so nice as to provide the power for the thing themselves before giving him his objectives.
I want a list with the names, titles, and occupations of every key person in there. Secondly, I want you to keep your eyes open for anything that might help us with the oil rig's power issues, schematics, leads, and so on. Before you go, I have one last thing. A personal favor. Find Vanessa and put her down. I can't stand the thought of that abomination. Good luck, Captain.
With his orders clear, the captain teleported inside the Institute, scanned their mainframe for a weakness, and met with their leader.
I am Father. Welcome to the Institute.
Father? Is that your name, your title?
Father is my unofficial title. I simply ask that you give the Institute, me, a chance.
Oh, all right.
Thank you.
And so, the captain met with all the staff one by one, compiling a list for the general. Next, he grabbed Virgil's cure, found a holotape with a clue as to the general's daughter's whereabouts, and stumbled across the angstiest
Those phase
scientist.
3 docs to Dr. Lee hours ago.
What's this phase 3?
Oh, well, we've been working on a way to increase our power output and... Wait, no. I probably shouldn't be telling you this. Especially since I need to get this file to Dr. Lee. And I'm late to a meeting. Oh, not again!
I'll take care of it.
Oh, you would? Okay, yes, sure. Here you go.
And just like that, Captain Dornan had achieved all objectives inside the Institute. Outside of it, however, he still had to hunt down and eliminate the, as the General put it, abomination. So after tracking her signal down to an old fish packing plant and spectacularly exploding a courser, he was forced to elbow his way through the tight, cramped facility until he'd finally reached the abomination. After a short battle, where she teleported away 2 or 3 times to save her from being killed by the captain, her luck eventually ran out, after which the captain made sure she was extra dead. Anyway, back at the oil rig, he gave the Institute mainframe data to the chief engineer and met with command.
Good work dealing with that abomination, Captain. While I know that wasn't my Vanessa, it's still a difficult thought to bear.
So, what did you find from the Institute? Intel? Anything to help with our power issues?
Yep, this year's hottest gift.
This is good information, Captain. Very good information.
As you may or may not know, we have some history with the Brotherhood of Steel. They know we're in the Commonwealth. After all, they've absolutely heard our radio broadcasts. They just don't know where we are.
That changes now. It is time we make our presence known to the Commonwealth. We have the troops, we have the equipment, we have the ambition. Now we send a message. The Brotherhood of Steel set up a forward operating base within North Boston Police Department. I want you to join Captain Peterson and his squad in securing it for the Enclave. One last thing. You are hereby promoted to the rank of Major. Congratulations, Major.
For his service, the Major was awarded a better plasma gun. And after seeing the Enclave project some force, and making sure that he didn't have to kill Dr. Virgil, he headed to the police station as instructed. The battle that ensued took place over open terrain, and started off a bit too far away to shoot accurate bursts of plasma. But that's what the Tesla cannon was for, which was pretty effective. Not as effective as a plasma rifle point blank, but pretty impressive nonetheless. The inside of the building was more of a formality, and after the general was given the all clear to land, he revealed that the enclave intended to release FEV into the atmosphere.
A similar plan was attempted many years ago, but was foiled through no fault of its own due to local movement. Unfortunately, that FEV Curling 13 variant is long gone. Dr. Kane is having to reverse engineer it from a sample that is far removed from it. Now, I need you to go to the hallucinogen facility in downtown Boston to recover a hypersonic vaporizer.
With his new orders, Major Dornan headed to Hallucinogen to retrieve the part. Dispatched some more gunners that found out the hard way as to why you should always wear respiratory protection, and then retrieved the part. When he exited the building...
You cannot go along with this plan.
Trooper, what are you doing here?
The reality of this is, if Senator Matthews gets his way, the repercussions will be unfathomable. People like you and General Ward, Enclave personnel who haven't been exposed to radiation for extended periods of time, the FEV wouldn't touch you. But people like me, Enclave remnants who've had to scavenge the wastes for years, we've been exposed to enough radiation that the FEV would end us.
I suppose a few sacrifices have to be made in order to preserve the greater good.
This goes far beyond that. What I'm going to propose sounds extreme. Is extreme. But there really is no other option. I'm afraid the only choice we have is to eliminate Senator Matthews and General Ward.
You are a danger to us all. That will end now!
The Major immediately reported about it to the General.
What? That snake, I knew she couldn't be trusted. Traitors like her are what keep derailing the Enclave's goals. Where is she now?
That maggot was a traitor. She deserved to die.
Good initiative, Major. I see you have that hypersonic vaporizer. I'll take it off your hands. I have time-sensitive orders for you.
Yes, cause there was no rest for the weary. Because his next orders were to go to mass fusion with a familiar face by means of vertebrates. Their objective was to acquire the beryllium agitator that was there to upgrade the oil rig's power output. This way they could continue to satisfy the FEV project's enormous demand for electricity. Though the building was already heavily contested by both the Brotherhood and the Institute.
Standing between the Enclave and its rightful victory will be the sorriest day of your short lives. Pilot, get us down there.
Because of his infiltration, he knew that the Institute was there to get the agitator for their own reactor. But to what end the Brotherhood was there was unknown. Perhaps it was as simple as them hoarding rare tech for the sake of hoarding rare tech. Like a dragon. Anyway, they made it to the agitator, where the Major got heavily irradiated despite his power armor.
Notes to self. Get a mutation checkup.
After dispatching the robotic defenses with their kryptonite, they waded their way towards the exit through Synths and Brotherhood, which were too busy fighting each other to notice the agitator just walking out of there. Back at the rig, the reactor got its upgrade. Yeah! Next, they watched the aftermath of several brutal FEV experiments.
This one doesn't have long left to live.
It must have been frustrating being that close.
And tested the latest version on a suspected mole and a bunch of mutants, only killing the mutants. With the FEV ready for mass production, all that needed doing now was wait.
Who's behind the attack?
A Brotherhood air assault! Our troops are outnumbered!
Damn it! Prepare the birds and muster the troops. We need to hold the army depot at all costs.
And so, the Major ran to his transport past legions of troops readying themselves for immediate deployment in order to foil the Brotherhood's massacre in progress. Major Dornan first flew around providing fire support from above, before hovering above the Enclave positions and gunning down wave after wave of incoming Brotherhood.
Bet you maggots didn't expect a 30 assault team to give you an ass kicking, did you?
After taking too much incoming fire, the Major was forced to bail out of the vertibird and join his comrades on the ground, while injecting a dozen or so stim packs. There were two main corridors the Brotherhood was pushing from. One was down the main road, the other a little to the left through a loading dock. The Enclave's vertibirds dropped in fresh troops behind the Major, while the Brotherhood's vertibirds dropped out of the sky in front of him. The Tesla cannon worked at great efficiency, downing several Brotherhood vertibirds. Target identification was somewhat important, as to not accidentally down friendly birds landing in reinforcements. As the battle concluded, it is no exaggeration that maybe around 150 Brotherhood soldiers, all in power armor, were slain, mostly by yours truly, giving even Special Agent Frank Horgan a run for his money.
All in a day's work for America's finest.
Major, we have no time for pleasantries. We have a situation. We've learned the Brotherhood of Steel have occupied Site Gamma, a missile test site north of here. They're making preparations to target the oil rig. They are successful. We are finished. We're gonna throw everything we have at them.
Gamma Site was accessible through a narrow corridor defended by two anti-aircraft turrets along the way. So Major Dornan landed with a single 30 assault team just outside of their range to take them out. The first Brotherhood perimeter was only lightly defended, and after blasting away the small garrison, including their commander, the Major shut off the first AA turret. Not long after, he artilleried the second Brotherhood perimeter with the Tesla cannon before closing in and shutting down the second AA turret.
Here comes the cavalry.
With the full might of the Enclave steadily streaming into the battlefield, the Major arrived at the missile site itself and disintegrated the defenders of the perimeter gate. Beyond the gate, he got involved in the biggest, most chaotic fight he had ever been a part of.
Oh my god! Inhuman reactions!
There was an incredible amount of firepower from the Brotherhood, all focused on the one single entrance. Enclave vertibirds were flying around providing support and crashing down around the Major. All the while, the Brotherhood's power armor clashed with that of the Enclave. Hoofing combat camps was the Major's business, and business was good, as he slowly crawled closer to the missile silo's entrance, tanking a rocket to the face.
It'll take a lot more than that to put me down, maggot.
Once at the entrance, he threw 3 plasma grenades, which he then manually detonated, clearing a large part of the Brotherhood defenders there. After emptying the plasma rifle, he quickly switched to the plasma thrower and started melting the faces of several survivors. When they had been melted away, the last 2 survivors got a face full of plasma grenade, after which the Major and his troopers entered the facility. Inside, they had maybe 3 minutes to elbow their way towards the missile launch computer to abort the firing mission on the oil rig, where the countdown voice was outrageously loud.
Refueling complete. Prepare for launch.
The Brotherhood seemed to have wisened up to the Major's godlike heartiness though, and had continuously been aiming at his head, undoubtedly knowing that shots to his body would merely deflect off his steel abs and armor. As he approached the missile silo's control room, he chucked a few plasma grenades into the room, killing Elder Maxon without realizing, and disintegrating whoever didn't have the courtesy of dying from that. After which, the missile launch was aborted, saving the oil rig. Leading the charge had minimized the Enclave's losses, with only 2 casualties being recovered post-battle. Next, technicians changed the missile's target coordinates to the airship.
Once the pride wind goes down, everything changes. Our momentum will be unstoppable.
Down she goes. Good riddance.
Brotherhood is no longer a threat to the Enclave.
With the Brotherhood destroyed, the Institute reckoned that now would be a good time to try and work out some sort of accord with the Enclave.
I should have you gunned down right here and now for the abominations you've created. Who are you? What do you want?
I'm Dr. Armstrong, one of the division heads. I come to you with a proposition. Now, I see myself as a proud patriot. If you were to help me remove the other division heads, I could allow you full access to our resources.
You're quick to turn on your colleagues.
Few others see things as I do. So I must take matters into my own hands.
Give me a moment. I do not trust them, and our scientists can make do without Institute technology.
I sure trust a traitor. What could possibly go wrong?
Exactly. I'm certain they'd try something funny.
That's your call to make.
It is. I think I've made up my mind. We will destroy the Institute. We'll do so as a matter of urgency.
You will regret this, General.
The Major could have tried to convince the General to take on Dr. Armstrong's offer, but the General's judgment proved to be on point, since the Institute already had an assault force ready to go as soon as the negotiations broke down. Having the General this close to being cowardly assassinated, he was rightfully pissed off.
No more delay. We eradicate the Institute ASAP. I'm calling an emergency meeting on the oil rig to discuss the operation. Meet me there.
As the Major returned to the rig, it seemed that the Institute had managed to replace Enclave personnel with synths.
It's more than likely that there are more spies. Sound the alarm!
And not much later, the Institute had invaded the oil rig. Their spies had taken offline the 3 teleportation inhibitors that were supposed to protect the rig against this very kind of attack. So the Major got to restoring them to working condition. All the while the rig's automated security and a large amount of troopers fought off the onslaught. With the inhibitors brought back online, the time had come to commence the final battle against the last power capable of stopping the release of the FEV murder gas into the atmosphere. So after flying to the Institute with a vertebrate attack group, the chief engineer rigged explosives above the Institute to make a breach leading inside.
All done.
Once inside, he was given a charge to blow up their reactor.
Where's your helmet, soldier? And don't tell me you don't have any, I swear to God.
Anyway, the Enclave showed no mercy as they cleared the Institute, be they man, machine, or otherwise. As their rampage continued, they only had to hope that some random Fault 81 dweller didn't infiltrate the oil rig and blow it up in search of their family while the Major was away. Again, what are the odds of that? There will be no unauthorized ships allowed this time. Anyway, Major Dornan entered the reactor room and destroyed everything in his path with ruthless efficiency until victory was assured. With the charge planted, everyone teleported out, and the General was so kind as to watch the fireworks with him in person.
I wouldn't miss this for the world. We should be well outside the blast radius. I'm told it will be quite a sight. With the push of that button, You will annihilate the last remaining obstacle in our path. There will be nothing to stand in the Enclave's way. Do it, Major.
You don't gotta tell me twice.
Next, they had a short heart-to-heart.
I hope you appreciate what you've done here, Major. The magnitude of your actions is almost unfathomable.
A better future is all I ever wanted.
Now we finally have the tools to deliver that future. With the Institute gone, there's nobody in the region that can challenge us. Only insignificant annoyances. We will release the FEV and we will fortify. In the coming years, as the mutated filth dies off, we will emerge a new America. Our own America. Now I believe it's time to return to the oil rig.
Back at the rig, the FEV was ready to deploy. And who else but the once Sergeant Dornan should have the honor of pressing that button?
It's done. Now our FEV will saturate the earth. And it is all thanks to you.
It needed to be done, and so it is done.
Well said. You should be proud of your accomplishments. It is my pleasure to promote you to the rank of Colonel. I can't think of someone more qualified to fill the void left by that traitor Whitehill. Thank you, Colonel. Dismissed.
And so ends the story of how Sergeant Dornan guaranteed society's revival. I had to condense a lot of things down to make this into a digestible video. So I fully recommend anyone to rebuild America with the glory of the Enclave. You could side with Colonel Whitehill. What happens then? Don't know. You can find that out. But at the end of the day, make sure that the Brotherhood regrets ever picking a fight with the Enclave. And I just want to say, thank you for watching. Ciao!
God bless America, and God bless the Enclave.